Alright folks, from Tech City Bowl in Kirkland, we're here for the title matches of today's JBT event. Scratch division over here. Opening event of the 16th season of JBT competition, and here's Courtney Couch trying to win a scratch title, which would be her second of the day. More of that in a minute here. She qualified second, bowling against the guys and the gals on a condition that proved to be pretty difficult today. She's got a big challenge ahead of her if she wants to win her first career title here, because Marshall Kent is her opponent in a tricky little spare to open things up with, and isn't able to get it. So 9 in the first, and here's Big Marshall. As we've talked about so many times on these webcasts, Marshall was Mr. Everything last summer. Was our TPC runner-up, the junior gold champ, was on the North Point winning, the junior world team winning team, just did it all. Was also the TPC runner-up this year. He is about to hit about 2,000 miles east, trying to pick up one last JBT title before he does so, and look at that form, folks. Actually, that's a very mature move on Marshall's point, and something wasn't right, so he was able to pick it up and start all over again. Marshall headed off to Robert Morris College with a couple other JBT stars as well, and look out, they're going to go from whatever they are now to a mega powerhouse, as well as a couple other Midwestern schools with all this talent coming out of the Northwest. 11 wins on our local tour. And this time, we'll see his first shot. Comes up high as well and only leaves the 6-pin. We bowled on Kegel's Bourbon Street pattern today, but this house has an awful lot of friction no matter what you put out. And I saw a couple practice balls immediately go into the left gutter today out of the right-handers, and we knew we were going to be in for a hook fest. So that kept it from being high scoring. In fact, Marshall was one of the few bowlers to even be plus today. Pretty much lapped the field, qualifying first at plus 200 after 8 games, hard and straight at the 6th pin, and an early lead with that conversion. Kent led after 5 games today at plus 33, so just over a 206 average. Sometimes you gotta be over 240 to lead a tournament. Not today, for sure. And had a strong match play, shooting a 677 for his 3 games and winning all 3 matches to get to that even plus 200 after 8 and be 1 win away from yet another title. Well, high, same basic thing there. Got the 7-pin out. That's good news. I think when you're in a bowler like Marshall's level, where you've close to pretty much done it all at the JBT level, it's hard to sometimes focus on these individual quote-unquote smaller tournaments. As we start the whole season over, everybody's at 0 points. Points are not going to be a concern for Marshall this year, since we'll only see him a couple times this season. It's hard to sometimes to mentally focus, but evidently no problem with that today, as he fairly easily led this tournament. This is by far Courtney's best performance in a JBT event. Well, about 2/3 of the stops last year, no top 5s, and she has looked great all day long today. And that basic form sometimes works to our females' advantage when the lanes are difficult. Oh, a real nice shot there. Leaves the half 10. When they're hard, you often see females do better against the guys than they do when they're easy. Hopefully she can convert this 10. That looks pretty good. All over it. The reason for that is that in general, the girls don't have the big power game. They don't have the physical strength to do that stand left, throw right, stomp and spray. You might have heard that term. Bowling that a lot of the guys do. So they have to rely on accuracy. The tougher the lanes are, the more that accuracy becomes the determining factor over power and speed and stuff like that. They were harder today, and you saw the straighter ball bowlers, or the bowlers that are able to mimic that straighter ball style, come to the top. Oh, immediately wanted that to go left. Oh, you got to jump, Courtney. I think if she had jumped, that pin would have fallen. We'll have to work on that. Obviously, a slew of Brooklyn hits today, all day long. If you grabbed it just a pinch, if you were a board or two left, if you came around it just a little bit, all of those things would make the ball go directly left. Nothing but. Sticking with her strike ball here on the spare shot. Maybe that'll work for her. All right, nicely done. She got those title match jitters out of the way now. Can't throw a much more intimidating presence at you than Marshall. And the last of the big four, or the big five, depending on how you look at it, from the last couple seasons, ever since we started really in the Northwest. Not quite true, but yeah. It's been Kent, Cruz, Crowell, Weir, and those are kind of the big four, yeah. Certainly the last couple years, that's been the big four, and all three of the others are already off east. Marshall will be heading out there just within a week or so. Good adjustment there to get the ball back into the pocket, like it doesn't quite trip out the 7. 258 Marshall finished with. He was already in the lead after 7, so he consolidated that with the 258, which I think was the high game of the day. There wasn't anything too much higher than that, at least. Tied with some guy over to my left here. Jeremy Witt tied him for that high game. Jeremy finishing up in 4th place today. Alex Earl was in 3rd, a nice top 5 to open the season for him. And Patrick Hickok, another Oregonian, was in 5th today. 41 scratch entries. You only had to be minus 136 to make the cut. That's about a 176 average. So obviously very difficult lanes today. So see, Marshall can hook the ball the whole lane if he wants to. There's no benefit to doing that. You see he's using a pretty weak ball, a very forward roll, and really not covering many boards. As you can see, he was slightly dissatisfied with that shot there, i.e. disgusted. Marshall's a perfectionist. I mean, it wasn't that good a shot for anybody, but if he's not happy with his delivery, you'll know it right away. You don't get to win 11 titles and junior gold, etc., without being a bit of a perfectionist. Again, the hard and straight method to cross lane spares, that's exactly what you want to do, especially on a sport pattern. So 4 spares and 4 frames gives Kent an early 8-pin lead. Courtney struck plenty today, only a high game of 222. She didn't have the big, huge strings that Marshall may have, but what she did have is she maintained her low game. She had a 177 in game 3, but after that, her next lowest score was 188. When the scores are as low as they were, that really helps her. She's right there. She's fishing around the pocket. She's kind of zeroed in here. 2-4-5, another difficult spare. Any cluster is going to be difficult when the lanes are difficult. Got to avoid chopping that 2-4 off the 5. If she does, she'll trail by 11 through 4 frames. If she doesn't, she'll be upset. Oh, there you go. Crowd saying 3, exactly right. But she has it, and that is that 11-pin deficit. She qualified right in the middle of the packet, minus 49 for 5. What is that? 620 for the semis. That was good numbers today. Courtney is a shorter girl. She's standing right in that 2nd row of dots. Classic 4-strap approach. Great follow through. Great knee bend. And still fishing around that pocket. Fishing around trying to find that pocket, rather. But leaving for the most, well, yeah, for the whole part, makeable spares. You only had that one open in the 1st. Otherwise, it'd be dead even. And as it is, we're just about within a mark with this 6-pin, which she will make. That's where we stand. You want to see who wins this match? Watch part 2. The way we're going, maybe part 3.